All right, hello everyone. Can you hear me? Excellent. So my name is Kevin Jameson, and I'm from the Hewlett Packard Enterprise HPC and AI business unit. I lead the federal civilian business, HPC sales, I should say. So we work, primarily with Department of Energy. We do a lot with Department of Energy. I know lots of you are in the room. We have, of course, a lot going on with NASA and NIH and all of these other Department of Justice, Department of Commerce. Civilian for the most part, but we have other folks who are working in the DoD and commercial and doing a lot of interesting things. So glad to be here today. Thank you for having us, and we're glad to host. We have been involved in several of these before. I've been to several of these. I know many of you, and I've worked with many of you over the years. So again, thank you for having us. So the kind of the key takeaway of it, I'm not going to bore you with a bunch of product slides because nobody likes to see a bunch of product slides over and over again. But key takeaway is that although this is our roadmap, this is sort of the purpose-built server hardware, I guess, for HPC and AI. We are very much in the leadership class HPC business today. We've had a lot of recent success, a lot of recent work, things like Path Forward, and we had a lot of firsts in our recent history. Right, we deployed the first OmniPath fabric, end-to-end fabric. We deployed the first EDR, IB, end-to-end fabric, deployed the first ARM-based petascale machine right down the road here. I'm based in Albuquerque, come to Santa Fe quite a lot, and used to live up in Los Alamos. This is a hotbed for firsts, and we're glad to be a part of it. So it's no news that we acquired SGI. That only helped further our work into the leadership class market. So the very far left, the SGI, well, we call it the Apollo 8600 now. So it's the best of class between the Apollo 8000, which was liquid cooled, we did up at NREL, and then the SGI machine that was also liquid cooled at the component level. So at the high end, there, but all the way to sort of our DL run-of-the-mill basic HPC platforms, either enabled with accelerators or not. Apollo 6000, Apollo 2000 is what we use to build most of our HPC clusters, and then later I'll talk a little bit about the targeted platforms for AI as they are developing. But so very recently we had Antonio Neri become our CEO, and I would say that Antonio is the most pro-HPC CEO we've had in decades. He came from an engineering background. He worked from call center at HP all the way up to our CEO. What he gets and what he's driving and what HPE Labs is now endorsed to go do is think about computing in an unconventional way. From programming, I'll talk a little bit about that, but architectures, we're working with so many partners. We don't spin silicon, but we do a lot more than just bend metal, and we're bringing a lot of partners together and key suppliers. So. And then accelerators, but all of these coming together to do computing in an unconventional way. Speaking of unconventional, so we get into AI, and it's more than a buzzword now. We've come from machine learning to deep learning to AI, and we're full bore on the AI path. We're making investments, and talk a little bit about those. But from a product perspective, this is pretty much the portfolio, and some of them are, so we've got the SXM2 on the far left, and we work with all the NVIDIA GPUs and utilizing these to bring up the compute power in a box, but some are scale out, some are scale up. That's pretty much the portfolio. And we'd love to talk to you more about any of these products, but this is a high-level view of kind of what we're offering to AI customers today. This is the ecosystem as we see it, as what we're focused on, and there are probably others in here that are not shown, but we know that it's a rapidly changing and evolving ecosystem. So from a hardware perspective, we have the usual cast of characters, but and then software is changing. We're making investments. I don't see up there. We have Blue Data. We just acquired Blue Data very recently. Trying to find what other partners might be complementary to our strategy and bring them into the mix. But just having these identified is only half of the battle, right? So we went to HPE Labs and said, we're going to give you the license to go create something. And we had some very talented, they were master engineers, now they're fellows. Anyway, they started working on what we call the DL Cookbook, and realizing that to help people get going in AI, you're going to need more than just the pieces, and you got to help people figure out the end goal, which is often a business case, how are you going to use data? Data is useless without a way to use it. We have no problem in today's world generating data or capturing data. What to do with it is all the difference. And so we have some folks who worked on what we kind of call recipes, and you could call them, you could call them a mix, the right mix, but customizable, just to the point, and just to enough to be a reference architecture, but also a way to have people think about their own problem in their context, and then we tweak it to help them actually progress and make something out of their data. And so that's our DL Cookbook, which is the Deep Learning Cookbook has a couple pillars. We have the data, of course. I talked about that. That's almost the easy part now. No problem there capturing. But then we have the applications for training your neural network. You have the models that we're trying to incorporate, and then the pieces that we can actually sell. We can go sell the software, or whether it's open source or not, how do we bundle it up, and then how we can put it onto our hardware. And I think that's pretty much the gist. But again, just the takeaway is that I really want people to see HPE, Hewlett Packard Enterprise, which is now we broke up the company apart to be the commercial side and the enterprise side, and I'm from the HPE side. We own the HPC strategy, and so we're definitely in the high end, the leadership class market. And again, thank you for allowing me to be here, and thank you for being here in Santa Fe. Enjoy. Thanks.